introduction at first. And I chose the topic of how to survive doTERRA as an introvert because I want to let that introvert flag fly really high today. And I think some of you already told me that this would be a topic that could be interesting to you. So first of all, I mean, obviously I'm like a total and very proud introvert. And first of all, but let's talk about what makes an introvert, or what is the difference. Because I think there are many thoughts out there what makes introverts introverts, extroverts extroverts, and I go by this definition. An extrovert is somebody who gets energy from being in a room full of people, who really is like at the most creative flow, and there's a ton of people around. Large gatherings and parties are amazing and awesome for them. They love stimulation, like they really get stimulated by outside stimulation. An introvert gets the energy from being alone, you know, walking outside in nature, sitting in a room, staring at the wall. The greatest ideas come when it's quiet around. Stimulation can get quite overwhelming easily. So, but introverts are not necessarily shy. This is, I think, a misconception. Oftentimes when you talk about an introvert, you think, oh, this is like a super shy person. This could be the case, but it's not always. Like, I consider myself to be a bit shy, but not overly shy. And the difference is that shyness often comes like from the fear of being judged by other people. And as I said, introversion is something that's just, you know, too much stimulation. We are great listeners. I mean, we love to hear other people talk and, you know, step back a little bit. Also great in collecting and processing information. And I consider that to be one of my zones of genius. You know, I love to do research. I love to sit at a desk and be surrounded by papers and books and, you know, markers and trying to get a picture, a structure out of all the information. Because, of course, usually you're pretty alone. You know, you're sitting in a library or something, and you're just diving into the topic. So that's what introverts are often good at. Albert Einstein, for example, was an introvert, by the way. Not that I would, you know, but you get the picture. And introverts are pretty comfortable to let others step out into the limelight. They have no problem, you know, handing over a microphone and pushing others out on stage and say, well, do your thing, I'll just step back, I'll support you. And oftentimes introverts are not the kind of people that are like my way or the highway. They let other people explore their strengths and their talents and let them do their things. Not that extroverts can do that, but I think for introverts it's so much easier. And it's easy for us as introverts to connect on a deep level. It's so much easier for us, you know, to be at a party and connect to like 2 or, well, actually I think maximum 2 people and get really deep with them and, you know, talk about life and plans and whatever, than compared to talking to 25 people in an evening. Like, that's super draining to us, right? And we're good at reading people because we can step back and watch and listen. So I get judgmental pretty easily because I always think, oh, I totally get this person like right away after talking to them for a couple of minutes. But if you look at that, those are great leadership skills. And I think in our society, we have kind of gotten that idea that you have to be a total extrovert to be a great leader. But that's not the case. No, those are all really great gifts. And if you think about yourself, like, do you share things right away when they happen? Like, is it something something horrible happens in your life and you have to tell somebody right away? Or do you rather step back a little bit, you know, get it through your mind, your body, and then go out and talk to people? Do you like to be, you know, alone to get creative and think about things? Or are you more, you know, really jazzed up being in a room full of people? So who considers themselves to be an introvert in this room? Yeah. Absolutely. It's estimated that 1/3 to a half of the population are introverts. So that's a lot. We're not the freaks. We're just as totally normal as extroverts are. But I feel that in our culture, we often, especially, you know, teenage years and young adults, and even when we're like grown up, we still feel, oh, it's weird. I mean, it's just me who wants to sneak out at parties, or, you know, is one of those, hey, I've been here, happy birthday, here's your present, so have fun, bye-bye. But we're just as normal as all the extroverts. So there's no one's better or worse than the other. It's just a different kind and different set of gifts. Where you find me at parties, making friends with the resident animals like a drunken snowball. That has been me quite a lot of times, actually. Not always drunk, but sometimes. And yesterday, I actually thought about that picture yesterday because I was out on the balcony and there were still people in this room, and I don't know who watched me being out on the balcony. And I was actually going over my presentation because I had some notes in my phone, and I was walking outside there and looking into the distance and walking back, and then suddenly I thought, I must look so ridiculous to all the other people. Like, they were having fun in there and chatting. I was just like, you know, going around on the balcony all by myself, and suddenly Roger came, luckily in the end, and I didn't look so ridiculous anymore. But we both are introverts, so that was good. So this is a picture of something that I do each and every day. I have a very active dog, and who was there in Prague knows that I always have a picture of my dog in my presentations, and this is going to be my thing, like my signature from now on. Better get used to that. And we always go for hikes. It's like 45 to 90 minutes hikes, and you see there's a lot of countryside, like fields and some trees. What you don't see there is people. I always choose like paths and hikes where I'm pretty sure I won't meet anybody else. You know, maybe some deer and rabbits, and yeah, I'm the one who walks out there at the ponds and is very happy to see a duck. So and that's why I live in the country as well, because I want to go outside and be pretty much alone, just surrounded by nature. That gives me fuel. That's really recharging for me. And I'm also an only child, so my mother was like, okay, one's enough. This is enough to handle that. Although, I must have been pretty easy, because I really love to sit in my room and read and sit outside in my tree and be with my animals. And yeah, I consider that to be normal as a kid, but when I grew up, as I said, you know, when you were surrounded by people and at parties and you felt like, oh my gosh, it's already 10 o'clock, bedtime, I guess. It was, at my own wedding, I was at 10 o'clock, I was ready to leave. And I said, I'm the bride, I can do whatever I want, but I stayed a little longer. And I have somebody here from my extended family, and she knows that I'm not at all the family gatherings. And at first it was very hard to say, oh, another birthday, because my husband has like 3 sisters, and September and December are the months where we have like a birthday celebration every month. And I'm like, no, once is good. I like, happy birthday, I say that just 3 weeks before the person actually celebrates their own birthday, because it's just so much for me. And you know that I always sneak off actually and sit in a corner, and I might, yeah, talk to only 1 or 2 people that day, and now they have gotten used to it. They know it's not being me, being mad at them or angry or anything or annoyed. It's just that it's getting like really draining to me. So my strategy is actually to survive that business that has so much to do with stimulation and other people and being around groups of people, are most importantly to schedule recharging time, especially after big events. And like a recent thing was that I went to the doTERRA Global Convention in Salt Lake City last month. So it was a week full, like with 30,000 people, like a ton of people and so much to learn. And it's amazing, and don't get me wrong, I love to be at events like that. And I actually love to be surrounded by people. But it feels a little bit like running a marathon, like I would imagine running a marathon. Because, you know, it is hard work. It takes a lot of strength, but you're very happy and proud in the end, and it's good for you, but you are also tired. You're totally pooped after. Are you totally pooped after a marathon, like tired? Yeah. You have to tell me, yeah. So it's great, it's wonderful, but after that I really need my downtime. And this time I kind of made a mistake. I flew from Salt Lake City up to my Canadian team to do like a whole week of teaching there, and it was like 3 or 2 events a day. And I could feel that it was so hard for me, like to push through that additional week in Canada and be like high energy and still give the people the energy that I thought they deserved. So, I mean, it was still practical, but like when I get back from this event, I actually have a day where I don't do anything except being outside and, you know, recalibrate and get my stuff together, and then I'm fine again. But I totally can tell when I'm drained already by being around a lot of people. And when you're at a party or a networking event, don't try to work the room. Just walk up to 1 or 2 people and you will find the right people for you. You know, just let your instincts, your intuition drive you to the people that you feel would be the most beneficial and the best for you in the moment. And then connect on a deep level. That's easy for you anyway to do. So try to, do what you're best at, and don't feel like at a networking event you have to throw around business cards like confetti and talk to everybody. And keep your classes short. That's something Emmanuel actually taught me as well. 2 hours would be ideal. I try to have my classes like 45 to 60 minutes. Then usually there's a little question and answer and talking to people. I actually have a hard time getting out there, especially in the evenings, shorter than 3 hours, because often there is food. So I stay and have some food and all of that. But that's more, I don't have to be on that much. I can do my things. And actually, I noticed that when I eat, all the other people are talking about stuff, and I'm just there in my corner and eating my sandwiches and my snacks, and I'm pretty much done. And like, oh, you signed your enrollment form? Well, perfect. So this is already me drawing back a little bit. And present. This might sound kind of counterintuitive to you, but if presenting becomes second nature to you, if you said, that's so easy, so natural to me, I'm like a coin-operated wellness advocate, just push the button and I do my presentation. This doesn't take up any of your energy anymore. If you have to concentrate on the presentation, and this is, of course, like now, exciting for you, and you have to take in the energy of the people in the room, it becomes too much easily. So the presentation is something that just happens, it's so natural to you already. Do you understand like the concept that I'm trying? Yeah. So as more often you present, the more natural it gets to you, and the easier it will be to have it like a tape recorder running, and you can deal with the energy of the room on the side. And this 1, 2, 3 call. This might not be a typical introvert problem, but I often found myself, thinking about a call that I was going to make and what I was going to say about like 60 minutes, and then the call only took 2 minutes. So now I'm always trying, and it's not so easy for me to call people. I still like to do it. I still prefer calling to texting people because I still, get to understand what they're about in that moment, and you feel them a little more. So I try to think about like the 2 or 3 sentences that I'm going to say before I call them, like the starters kind of, and then I let it roll from there, and not overthink the whole call. And then it's like my mind leaves my body. I just push like the call button and let it happen. And emails the same. I mean, I have looked at emails and should I try it this way? Oh, that's a little bit too long. No, that's a little too short. And now I'm just let my body kind of do its own thing, and then just. Like you're standing at a cliff and you're about to jump, the longer you think about it, the harder it gets. So just go out there and talk to people and call them, and don't think about it. But as I said, it's always good to have like the starter sentences in your head to just be comfortable when you do that. And be very selective about the people you spend your time with. I mean, that's a tip for everybody actually. And last year, what was a game changer for me, especially feeling that it's so okay to let go of some people, was Rosie's Dingo Bingo presentation. I really loved it, to make the difference between the people who kind of deserve your energy and the ones that might not be ready yet, or maybe will never be. And this is so important. That's why it's actually very nice to be in a room of people like you are all, because you are positive people. And I mean, doTERRA offers you so many connections that are very valuable, even for us introverts. Of course, use your oils. And it's too bad that Nathan isn't here, because I'm going to talk about like aura and chakra stuff. Well, balance, of course, is an oil that we all love, and I think I don't have to explain anything about balance. I love to put it on my wrists and then smell it and put it on the back of my neck before presentations maybe. And bergamot, because it's like calming, but I find it refreshing as well, and also grounding as well for citrus oil. The Douglas fir, I love Douglas fir. It's like an amazing oil, and I have found, and I work with a lot of like energy healers and stuff like that, that it's like an eraser to trauma. I couldn't find anything about that in the literature, but when I used it after, I also have a bit of travel anxiety. So when I flew over in spring to Canada, suddenly on the plane it smelled like smoke, like some plastic was smoking. And I got in total panic mode, and I mean I was relaxed and watching a movie, and so I was like, can you smell it? And it suddenly stopped on its own. But before I flew back home, I was thinking about the situation, just about the feeling, the anxiety I felt, and that I wasn't so afraid of the flight itself, but about that anxious feeling and being in small plane, encapsulated kind of. And I used the Douglas fir just because it smelled good to me in that moment, and I felt like, actually it's like gone, it's like erased. So I work with a lot of energy heals, and I told them about it, and they actually said, yeah, they have found it works like that as well. So just try it out. I'm not sure if it's like the same for everybody, probably not. But if you feel like, and this could be a social experience that you have, try to use Douglas fir right before that. Eucalyptus, because it's amazing, it opens up your airways. It means it gives you like the energy of the oxygen back into your body, and it also, if you breathe deep, your body opens up as well. And I just like the smell of it. And lavender, try to put lavender on your like throat chakra and rub it upside, like to your mouth. And this is supposed to help you, you know, let the energy, like what's inside of you, come out of your mouth, like materialize it out into the world. And the Introvert and doTERRA shields are really great to shielding you off. It's not just like insects that are sucking the blood out of you, it's also against people that are kind of sucking like energy out of you. And there you could put it on your body, have it in a diffuser, rub your aura with it, do whatever feels comfortable to you. Just to, if you want to look up some videos that are really great about understanding introverts, and if you're an introvert yourself, this might help you understand that it's totally normal to be the way that you are, and if you're an extrovert, as you could tell, there are so many introverts in the room, it's absolutely like, I mean, you have a ton of introverts on your team, just to help you understand how we roll. So there's a great author, it's Susan Cain. She wrote Quiet, How Introverts Shape the World in a Gentle Way or something like that. And she did an amazing TED Talk. I mean, this is like over 5 million and a half views. It's called Susan Cain, The Power of Introverts. And there's another great one, also by Susan Cain, Networking for Introverts. And this is like Marie Forleo, that's just an additional tip. Marie Forleo is a great, and anyone knows Marie Forleo already? Yeah. So cool, I love her videos. They're so like, I think her slogan is create a business and life you love. And she has a lot of experts from all fields and artists and everything, so I really like that show. But that's a great one, the Networking for Introverts, or you just search for Susan Cain and Marie Forleo. So my conclusion, just to all of you, you are not broken as an introvert. You have those talents and gifts that extroverts don't have, so we complement each other. And you don't have to be on all the time. It might be necessary for some events, and it might be necessary in some situations, because it's just easier in our society to be more extroverted, to handle some certain situations and not look like a total weirdo. But if you feel comfortable being weird, then just be it. And people will get used to that, actually. And embrace your gifts. Totally embrace them. I mean, think about all the great gifts that you have with the information processing and, you know, the listening, and to get the feeling of other people, even though it's a bit draining. This is a gift that you have to even be aware of that. It might be harder for extroverts to feel how other people feel in a certain situation. We can totally do that. And don't ever hide behind your introvert stigma. So often I hear people, I can't, it's so hard for me because I'm an introvert. Well, I mean, guess what? Nobody ever said it's easy to be a wellness warrior, right? I mean, this is hard work that we do, and it's just, the biggest problem is to expect that there's not going to be any problems. But you will grow into that, and the more assured you are that this is totally normal and that you're wonderful the way you are, the easier it's going to be. And I think there was kind of a little bit of a, like the red thread going through this whole, like yesterday, I don't know, did you say that this way? Like the whole theme of even yesterday, how we are really great and alright the way we are, and we just need to embrace it. And that's basically what I was wanting to tell you. And so to all the introverts, you know, let the introvert flag fly high and be super proud of it. And there's so many of you, and you would be surprised who's an introvert actually. Gandhi was an introvert, Eleanor Roosevelt, as I said, Albert Einstein, as we would say in German, Audrey Hepburn, you know, all Bill Gates, of course. I mean, he spends a lot of time, you know, thinking about things. So be proud of that and be the next one on the list of like the famous and great introverts in the